Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. We are live. This is Empty the Clip. I am your host, One Shaman. You are officially tuned in to Empty the Clip. This is the hip hop show based in South Africa. South African best hip hop show. Best hip hop podcast, actually. That's what we can do. With no further delay, I'm going to introduce my guest. You've probably tuned into her radio show. You've probably watched or read some of her content. I want to call her the hip hop media queen of our generation. I want to call her one of the most in-depth and insightful hip hop media personalities we have in the country. I'd like to introduce the Pristine Queen Azizzar.
Hey. I'm here.
Welcome to Empty the Clip.
Hey. It's like, whoa. Okay.
Too violent, too early, too violent.
Yeah, just a touch. But we're alive. Now we know we're alive.
Definitely alive. How are you doing?
I am good. I haven't seen or spoken to you in a while.
It's like a year, man. Like maybe 2 years.
How you feeling? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing awesome, man. And your end, how you been holding up?
Good. Life got very interesting. Life got very, very interesting. We didn't know whether we were going up or down. We were unsure about a lot of stuff, but we're here now. And I think that's what matters. We managed to soldier on, make it through. So I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm grateful. I'm healthy. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm doing well.
That's super dope to hear, man. So how you feeling about this game right now? How you feeling about hip hop, with the state of mind of hip hop, where we at as a genre? Just quickly.
I think we're in a good place. I think we're in a very, very good place. And I think that there's so much more to come from us. I'm very excited about some of the things that are going to be happening. I'm very excited about some of the moves that some of the people are making as well. So I think, some of these chats, I don't think we are critical and unstable. I think we're okay.
Dope. So before we start with unpacking who the Pristine Queen Azizzar is and what your contribution to the space is, I like to do some icebreakers, something very light, something I call the SA hip hop trivia. Just to test your knowledge in the game, man. What you know, like how tapped in, how clued up you are with the game. Are you ready for something like that?
I mean, let me tell you something, Juan. I'm usually on the other side of this thing, so I'm very uncomfortable.
That's something that you didn't touch on. You're usually doing this. You're usually asking the questions, not being asked the questions.
100%. I'm usually in control. I usually know exactly what's about to happen, when it's about to happen, and the way it's about to happen.
You know what's next.
Right. And I think also, when you play 30 seconds, for instance, right? The thing is counting down and you're like, I know this. I know this. And then they go time and then all the answers flood back. That's
okay. Yeah, no pressure. We can take it easy on you. I've got like an easy first couple questions, so like you probably should cruise through those. So if you get the question correct, I'm gonna give you one of those. If you get it wrong, I'm gonna give you that Windows 95. I'm gonna hit you with the Windows 95. Cool, you ready?
It's now or never.
Now or never. All right, awesome. Cool. Question 1. Which of these was a hip-hop show hosted by Sizwe Dlomo and Scoop Maketini on YFM? Is it A, The Essence? Is it B, 16 Bars Reloaded? Is it C, The Full Clip? Or is it D, The Stir Up?
It's C.
C, The Full Clip. Final answer?
Yes.
See? Easy start. Cool. Question number 2. Which of these artists do not feature on the remix to AKA's 2018 single, Baddest? Which of these artists do not
I already know.
feature Not. I didn't even give you the options yet.
I already
Dude,
know that one. But go ahead.
is it A, Fifi Cooper? Is it B, Rouge? Is it C, Nadia Nakai? Or is it D, Gigi Lemaine? Which of these artists do not feature on the remix to AKA's 2018 single Baddest? C. Final answer?
Yes.
I mean, you're cruising through. You're cruising through. I must say, the past two guests had
Mhm.
100% record. So,
Damn it.
no pressure. So, the current champion is Ili Amin. He's got like 100%.
Not
Uh,
surprising. Not surprising at all. At all.
all right, you ready for the next one?
I
Cool. Question number 3. Shizniz is a hip hop television show produced by Red Pepper Production, aired on which free to air TV channel? Shizniz, a hip hop TV show produced by Red Pepper Production, aired on which free to air TV channel? Is it A, SABC 1? Is it B, Soweto TV? Is it C, ETV? Or is it D, SABC 2? C. Final answer? All right, 3 for 3, 3 for 3. All right, bottom of the fourth, last question. This is for the 100% succession rate or conversion rate, right? This is for the championship, SA Hip Hop Trivia Championship. All right, question number 4. Simone Harris was the chief editor of which hip hop publication? Simone Harris was the chief editor of which hip hop publication? Is it A, SA Hip Hop Mag? Is it B, Hype Magazine? Is it C, The Plug? Or is it D, Rap Type Mag?
it's B.
Simone Harris is B.
Hmm.
Final answer.
Yes.
Awesome stuff. That's Hip Hop Magazine. That's Hype Magazine, rather. I mean, you killed that. You killed that. I think I'm making the questions a little too easy.
You are making them easy. I'm not gonna lie to you. You made them easy, but I knew them. That's what matters.
That's all that matters. Hey, don't hate the player, hate the game. Dope. I mean, you killed that. That's 4 out of 4. You're the current champion. Let's see what the next guest does next week. But yeah, getting into Queen Azizzar, man. Getting into the pristine Queen Azizzar. What's your journey in the game, and how did that come about?
Sure. Wow. So I've always loved hip hop. I mean, I have an older brother, and he's about 9 years older than I am. And during like 96, 97, he was back in the day, he'd have like the VHSs, and he'd like record all these music videos on a Saturday, and he'd be playing like Pac, Biggie, Scarface, Bone Thugs, Wu Tang.
At
And
9
then
years old?
no, not 9 years old. He's 9 years older than me.
Oh,
So
9 years older. I was like, damn, whoa.
so at that time he was in his teens, right? So
Okay.
I was exposed to the music. I was like, oh, this sounds cool. Okay, cool, whatever. And as I started to get older, what I would do is I'd sneak into his bedroom, and when he'd be out, and I'd like bump his CDs on a hi-fi. That's where we come from. We come from the hi-fi era.
This is like the
And
4
I'd
piece or the 3 piece.
yeah, so I'd like play his things, and back in the day, they had they'd have the lyrics printed on the CD sleeve. So I just play and just be like reading back what's there, whether I understood it or not. That didn't matter for me, you know what I mean? So that's where the love of it kind of started from. And then in terms of like formally starting to work in this space, so I studied journalism. I studied journalism at UJ, and then in my honors year, we had to do like some work. You had to go work at a media publication in order for you to graduate. So I started working at UJFM, and I started as a newsreader. And I was like, okay, this radio thing is kind of cool. And then after that, I went on to work at the Times. So I worked at Times Media. So I used to write for the Times, wrote for the Sunday Times at some point in time as well. And I remember I was a general reporter. So when you're a general reporter, you write anything and you are assigned anything. Today could be courts, tomorrow it could be politics, next day could be tech. So you didn't have one specialized beat, but I was always like, oh, I want to write entertainment. I want to write about these cool people. I want to get closer to knowing the people behind the music or the people behind the films, you know? So I would always pitch like entertainment stories, and they 98% of the time were hip hop driven. I remember at some points in time, one of the editors was like, yo, you are turning our page 3, our entertainment page, into a hip hop page. And I was like, well, that's what I do. Yeah, so that's kind of how I got into working in the space. I used to write for the paper, and then when I moved into the radio space, it just came with me as well. So that was about 20 2013. Yeah, 2013, 2014, somewhere there.
So while you're, I mean, in your early stages of, let's say, varsity, and you're still trying to find your, I mean, everyone in varsity at that point is still trying to find their foot in whatever industry they're trying to conquer, right?
Yeah.
At that point, have you decided that, you know what, hip hop is something I want to take seriously, whether it's just being in the media space, whether it's writing or whatever involvement? At that point, are you sure that hip hop is the one, or is it a matter of, I like entertainment, I like writing, I'm just gonna pursue anything at within that particular space, and then at some point hip hop finds its way in?
So I definitely was not sure at that point in time. I think for me, it took a while for me to be able to marry these two things that I loved. Marrying, writing at that point in time, and then moving into the radio space, marrying radio and hip hop. You know what I mean? So at that point in time, it was just like I want to be in the space. I want to see what I can do. So the specialization, I suppose, only came much later on. And it's so funny that one of your hip hop trivia questions was around, those radio shows. When you said the essence, I was like, yeah, yes, this is my thing. I used to listen religiously. So I think once I started to really tap into hip hop radio, then I was like, okay, this is something that I really love, because what I loved about all of those shows that you mentioned was I I never walked away not knowing something new. I always walked away fuller, and that for me was a very, very beautiful thing. So the specialization into hip hop came um much later. I think that there were nerves. I was a bit nervous at some point in time. I was like, yo, this is an overwhelming thing, and I love it so much. Can I contribute, and how? So that came a bit later on.
So at any of those points, where was the idea of maybe making music also in the back of your head, or were you just fixed on, what, I love this thing, but I don't think I'm, because we all have that phase where we're testing it out. Like hip hop is relatively new, so we're all kind of trying it out. It's like, hey, can I put a bar together? Can I write a beat? Can I
Right.
can I make a beat? Or were you just like, yo, I want to document this. I want to speak to the people that make the music. I want to speak to the people that create this culture. Or at some point where you're like, you know what, maybe I could try to get these bars
You-
off.
let me tell you one of the most painful things in my life. In my heart, somewhere, there was a point in time where I was like, yo, like in my heart, I'm a rapper. But I've always been very, very self-aware. So I knew earlier on that I cannot rap. I cannot rap.
Like, how did
It's
you
not
know
my
this? Did you
portion.
write a lyric, or it's like you attempted something, or it's just a matter of like, I can't do what those guys do?
I can't do what those guys do. And I think maybe when I was young, one day I was like, let me sit and see if I can write something. It did not last very long. It did not go very far. It was not my thing. Because I think the thing for me is that I have a very good memory. So it's very easy for me to remember lyrics and stuff. So I can easily rap along to songs. But that's a memory thing. That's not a skill thing.
Yeah.
That's one has done the work. One has done everything for me, and all I have to do is recall it. So for
Yeah.
me, the creation thing, no,
Not at all.
not right now anyway. No.
No, I appreciate your honesty. I think to be fair, like there's a lot of people that should actually be more self-aware in the sense that, you know, technically and skillfully they are not there. But if you were to do if you were to kind of like lie to yourself, this is probably the era where you can actually get away with it.
I get you.
Because
I
there's like
get you.
it's almost like a hybrid industry. It's not specifically about the music. It's not about lyrics and beats and I mean creating songs. It's like the social media era. You can create a dance. You can create, you know, a language, a certain slang word, and that could kind of propel you, you know, ahead from as far as you know the industry is concerned. But like I appreciate the self awareness part of like
No,
I can't
it's
do what these dudes do.
no, it's necessary. And I think that if I ever had to get into like making music, for instance, I'm so pedantic about one, having respect for people's craft. You know, it's not an easy thing. And a lot of people who make music, it's divine, it's God ordained. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't just wake up and go, okay, today I'm gonna be a producer. Yeah, let's get it, you know.
Almost like a
So
gift.
if I had to take that route, I would honestly probably spend a few years doing a lot of research, a lot of upskilling myself. You know, I wouldn't just dive into it. But one thing I can say, I myself would be very surprised if I woke up one day and it was like, hey, Aziz is a rapper. I'd be like, is she now?
I think you could probably pull it off. Like I said, like in this era that we're in, apart from the only thing I think that would hold you back is the respect for the craft. I think the fact that you have respect for the craft, that might be a limiting factor because then you'd want to kind of pay your dues and really
Yeah.
learn how to put words together, how to make things flow, and you know what I mean. But I think I mean you can pull it off.
Let me tell you, it doesn't you too kind. No, thank you.
So saying that, hip hop is, you know, a male dominated space. You know, we talk about the machismo and that bravado and that competitive edge. Um, at what point did you kind of realize that, hey man, I kind of stand out. I'm one of the few females in this space. I'm one of the few women actually um bringing my voice into this kind of male dominated space. So when did you realize that, and what was your reaction to it when you kind of looked around and you're like, hey, there's a lot of dudes here, man. There's not many women, you know, being represented in the space.
I think for me that just because of the way that I grew up, for instance, I have two brothers. You know, I grew up not having sisters, right? So um being surrounded by men is just has just always been kind of normal for me. So moving into the space, I was surprised. I was surprised, but I wasn't necessarily too uncomfortable, if that makes sense. And it it is what it is. You know what I mean? And I think that for me, coming into the space, it took me a very long time to get to a point where it was like, this is who I am. I'm here in this space, and this is a role. This is the role that I play in this space. I can tell you, even today, sometimes I still get surprised when, you know, people are like, "Hey, you're that chick with that hip hop show," and I'm like, "Oh shit, that's yes, yes, yes."
That is indeed me.
Oh yes, yes, that is me. And I think for me, it's just because I've always just been like, I want to put in the work. I want to respect what people do around here. And like you were speaking about, you know, paying your dues and earning your spot. I've always believed in doing that. You know, I've never been like, well, you know, there's few women here, so because of that fact, because I'm another one, and because I do this in a particular way, that in and of itself should be the thing that makes me stand out and that makes you give me special attention. No, I must do the work. You know what I mean? So that's how that's how it is for me. And I'm like I say to you, I'm still always surprised. I'm like, oh. Yes, yes, that is who I am, and that is the position that I play here.
Have you ever felt like that, like being a woman, is kind of like a deterrent? Have you ever been in a position where you're like, that might or has kind of deterred you from opportunities, or being in certain spaces? Or is it just a matter of like, no, it is what it is. I just happen to be one of the few people here that's really doing it at that level.
Look, I do think that um you kind of do have to go out of your way to, prove your salt, prove that you are worth your salt. Um, a lot of the times you come through and it's like, I'm about this hip hop thing, and there's that first like, are you?
Yeah,
You know?
skepticism. Mm.
It's like, and you have to just continue to be about it, and you have to go out of your way to make sure that it is it is seen in you, it is felt in you, that you are undeniable, and that you are moving in such a way that people know that you are here for the right reasons, and not for anything else. So I do think that there is that added layer of having to prove yourself, when you are a woman in the space. But I also think that it's okay. It's okay, because if you're really about it, it's not going to take too much or too long for people to recognize, okay, this is actually what she's about. This is actually what this is all about.
Dope, dope. One thing I've like always admired about you is your kind of like professionalism and your attention to detail.
Thank
And you're so about the culture, and it's not forced, it's not fake, it's super authentic, right? What kind of motivates you to kind of keep that level of consistency and keeping your contributions, particularly your show, at a high level in terms of the space, the culture?
So if you know, my show's tagline, it's for the love of hip hop, right? Everything is rooted in love. And even if you think about relationships, whether they are romantic or familial, or platonic, when you actually love something or someone, there's a certain way that you are going to treat it and a certain way that you are going to handle it. When you love a person, for instance, right? You are going to pay attention to the things that this person likes or doesn't like, the things that this person responds to or doesn't respond to, the thing that this person appreciates or doesn't appreciate. You're also going to pay attention to what this person is giving to you, how they are giving it to you, the way that they recognize you as well. So that is generally how I approach things. If you love someone or if you love something, you will have a respect for it, and you will give them it your absolute best. And I actually love this. And I think another thing for me is that I spoke about respect earlier on. That is so, so key. And it also ties into the professionalism that you speak about. If I am going to say, yo, one, pull up to the show for an hour, that is your time. That is your time. I have to respect your time. You could have been doing anything else. At the very least, let me know what you're about. Let me listen to your music. Let's have a fruitful conversation, because otherwise, I could just send you 10 questions in an email and we can keep it pushing. But time is too, too crucial. And there's too much that you put into your craft for me to not respect it. Because when you walk into my studio, I want you to respect me. I want you to know that I work hard at this thing. I love this thing. This is what I do. So, in that same way, I have to respect you in the same way. And it doesn't matter at what level, in the game you are or in your career you are. You all deserve the same amount of respect. And that's just what it is for me. So I have to respect it. And I think also when you have been given a gift, you have to respect it as well. It's not everybody who gets to do what I do. It's not everybody who gets access to the people that I get access to. I can't disrespect that. I have to give it my all, because if it ever goes away, I want to know that I've given it my everything. I don't ever want blessings to be taken away from me because I didn't respect them.
No doubt. Um, so when you started out, well, I think it's safe to say most people became aware of you from your work on the Switch Up, I think the show was called, with DJ Switch.
Yes.
So tell me about that. Firstly, tell me about that show, and how it came about, and then secondly, how the transition from that to you actually now having your own show, and you being like the main man and the main woman in that show. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, how does that kind of change your way of doing things?
Okay, so with the switch up, I mean, at the time, Massive had just launched, and if I remember correctly, DJ Switch had bumped into DJ Spoo at the airport or something like that. It was, but basically, it was like a chance encounter rather.
Okay.
And basically, Switch shot his shot and said, "Yo, I'm really loving what you guys are doing, and I'd like to, add value as well and contribute, through my forte and what I'm about." And then I remember because I think I'd been at a meeting or something, and I got a call like, "Yo, when you can make it to Massive, just pull up ASAP. We're gonna have a meeting. I think that this is something that you'd really be keen on." I was like, "Ah, cool." And then I pulled up, and there was just a room full of people. Switch was there, and I was like, "Yo, what is going on?" And it was basically like, okay, um, Switch wants to do a hip hop show, and he's got some ideas. And at the time, I had produced for a bit, so I knew, format. I knew how to make ideas translate into a show, that kind of thing. And he was like, "Okay, cool. I do need, a producer." And that's how I started. I actually started out as a producer. So we sat, took some ideas, put them down, and then the show launched. It was super great, and I think it was a few months before um, he then needed a different co-host, and I think it was the programs manager at the time. But one of our bosses was like, "Yo, you can do this thing. Do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Hey, I already produced the show."
Take
They're
the
like, "Yeah."
shot.
So they were like, "Yeah, so you produce the show, you already know it, and we know that you can talk. So are you trying to be about this, or how do you feel?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do it." And then that's how it ended up. That's how it ended up being myself and Switch on the Switch Up, and that was a really great time. That was a really great time, and that
What year
really
was that? That's what year was that?
it was 20. I'll tell you now. I have to backdate it. So it's 2022. The element is 4, which means we start off 28. I think it was about 2016.
Yeah.
It was around 20, yeah, around 2016. Yes. So that was when that was happening.
That was actually a very good year for hip hop. Think about it.
Yes.
Like,
So we had a really incredible time. I mean, the team at the time was also super motivated. We were like really in it. I remember like it would be midnight and texts are streaming into the group, and it's like, "Yo, I just had an idea." And it's like, "Okay, Ziza, go sleep." All right, cool. Or Switch would be like, "Yo, I know I'm in the country, but I just had an idea." "Okay, cool, let's action." "Okay, what about this? What do you think about this? How can we go about doing this a little bit differently?" So it was a really great time, and it was a really great experience as well. And like you say, I think a lot of people at that point in time, that was when it was like, "Oh, okay, here's this other chick. Okay, cool." And then the switch up came to an end. Um, Switch wanted to do other things, and it was okay. And then I think it was a few months of like, okay, management was like, "Okay, Aziza, we need a hip hop show. Where are you at?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Where am I? What are you talking about?" And they're like, "Do you wanna write a proposal, or what's your story?" And I was like, "Hey, yeah. Hey, okay, cool." And then I put together the proposal for the element, um, and I sent it through. I remember it was a Friday night. I was working at my mentor's house, and he literally went, "You're not allowed to leave until this thing is done." I was like, "Okay, cool, it's fine." So I put it down. I sent it through to management, and I think when I woke up the next day, there was a great. When do you want to start? I was like, um, what do you tell me? And they're like, when you're ready, let's roll. So then that was around March, and then the Element officially launched on the 22nd of September.
Damn, man. That's super dope. I'm glad you actually did that. I'm glad you actually, took those opportunities, because I think in the space currently, or even at the time, it was oversaturated with people wanting to be artists.
Mm,
Some talented, some not so talented, and there was a shortage of commentators and people who are documenting. I mean, the rise of SA hip hop, and platform wise, there really wasn't any platforms out there for existing top notch artists and upcoming artists. So I think the space that firstly the switch up, and then transitioning to the element, I think that was very pivotal in actually creating a home for upcoming artists. I mean, people like Shabzy, people like Jimmy Wiz, Touchline. Like, I don't think we would have actually heard those voices if we didn't have such a platform. And I think it opened up, um, you know, an opportunity for other platforms to be like, you know what, these guys are on mainstream radio. They're on radio. Maybe we should put them on television. Maybe we should put them on our radio platforms. It wasn't just a niche online kind of space. And I think we need more of that. I think we need more platforms that are actually gonna showcase like upcoming hip hop artists and talent that's out there, and not just people just trying to be talent and trying to be producers and yeah. So currently, what direction are you headed towards with regards to the show and with regards to your brand as the Pristine Queen Azizzar?
bigger. That that's really it. It's bigger. Um, I have so much respect and love for where I'm at. So much respect and love for the people who took a chance on me. So much love and respect for people who have always just been open. You know what I mean? I've done interviews with people who they walked in the studio and they didn't know who I was before they walked in, but they showed up. And I'll always have huge love and respect for this platform and what it has done. And I think that I just want to grow. That's what I want to do. I want to grow and I want to reach more people. So I'm in a good place, but I'm trying to make things bigger. There's also something else that I'm working on. I'm not ready to share yet, but
Okay.
it's a nice new challenge. Um, it's been interesting and I love it. So yeah, that's something that I'm working on sharing soon. Um, yeah, so the whole idea is to go bigger. The whole idea is to make more of an impact. I think that we do a lot, but I think that there's always more that can be done. I'd also like to branch out of my province and actually really go into where people are at. You
Mm.
know, that's really something that I want to do. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now, growing and continuing to make an impact. So I'm not going to slow down anytime soon.
Dope, dope, dope. Let's transition to a bit more, with something a bit more light. So towards the end of the show, we do something called six shots. It's like just quick fire questions. You
Hmm,
have 30 seconds to answer them. Can't think about them. You
bit
can't
of
contemplate. First thing that comes into your mind, you go. Are you
okay.
ready?
You said 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. You get 30 seconds.
Okay.
Cool. And we are going in 3, 2, 1. Best hip hop show in the country.
The element.
Best hip hop album currently in 2022.
Yo.
Can't think
Released
about it.
already. Okay, no, pass.
Nadia Nakai or Gigi Lamaine?
Gigi.
Radio show or TV show?
Both.
Your dream interview is?
Nas.
I love hip hop because
It's live.
perfect. Just got it in. Yeah, look, I think again, I just love giving people their flowers. I think you're dope, man. I think just simply put, you care, you're in the space, you outside, you're on the ground, and I think your opinion and your perspective on the game and the industry is well appreciated. You know, a lot of people come in the game and they want to talk about the business side and just want to talk about the industry side, and actually don't really talk about the art. You know, when you say something like respecting the craft, I don't hear a lot of that in this space, and I appreciate it as an MC as well, because it's like, you know, there are people who are listening to the music and are listening to the lyrics that you take time to put together. You know, there's an element of respect for that, and I think again, we need more voices in that space who are about the culture, who are about the impact, and I really appreciate you for you know, for being dope and being out there. Last question. This is a question that in hip hop you have to ask. This is the top 5.
No.
But I'm gonna switch it up. I'm not gonna ask you your top 5 hip hop artists. I'm just gonna ask you your top 5 hip hop media personalities, locally and international. You can mix it up.
Top 5 media personalities.
So that's radio, TV, podcasting, whatever.
Angie Martinez. Look, I'm just gonna throw names out there. I'm not gonna rank them.
I mean, Angie Mart, obviously.
Yes.
Yep.
So I'm gonna throw them out there. I'm not gonna rank them or nothing, but
No problem.
Angie Martinez, Lee Kasumba, Helen Herimbi, Mersha Tucker. Am I already on 4?
You're on 4, bro. Like, you just I mean, Angie Martinez couldn't count. It's like so you technically on 3 because Angie Martinez shouldn't count. It's like,
why shouldn't she count? What are you saying?
That's default. That's like saying Funk Flex. Like it's like a default.
Let me tell you something. That's like if somebody is talking about like their top 5 and they're like Lauryn Hill and you're like, no,
but like
no.
That's like, it's almost like, it's actually different. It's almost like, that's like when people say they top 5 and they're like Biggie and Nas. Like when you say Biggie and Biggie and Pac, sorry. It's like, we know, bro. Like,
hey, that's my list. That's my list. Oh, and then Sway.
Ooh, okay. Super dope. That's your top 5. Thanks again for coming through, man. For sharing your story. I want to do more of these. I mean, we evolve, we get better, we grow. Like you said, you want bigger. So I want to get to a point where when you are bigger, I want to document that journey. And I appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate you for showing love.
Thank you. And I think that it's always really dope when people recognize, you know, those of us who are behind the scenes ish, but kind of out there, you know. Like I said, I'm not a rapper or anything, but I appreciate you giving me the platform. And when I do share this thing that I'm about to do, I'll come back and I'll let you know all about it and how everything unfolded and went down. But I have a great respect for you, and I also wanted to say congratulations to you, you know, on retransitioning into this space as well, you know. But also more music.
Most definitely. I mean, I know where to come when I get more music.
Some of us, we enjoy you, Wawana. So even though you are, you know, growing this side of you, don't forget us, guy.
Most definitely. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That is the Pristine Queen Azizzar on episode 2 of Empty the Clip. Appreciate you, Queen. Have a dope one, yeah?
Thank you. You too.
Awesome stuff. That is episode 3 of Empty the Clip. I am your host, One Shaman. Please like, subscribe, and share. Please comment on the podcast and comment on YouTube. We will be doing this weekly, Empty the Clip, episode 3, with the Pristine Queen Azizzar, and we're out.